Okay, welcome back. Continuing to listen to the second hour of the weekend edition of the Cortland Economics Report. I'm here with a buddy of mine, Linda Thorstad. Linda and I have known each other for over 20 years. Linda is a geologist, very successful career in the industry. You are involved as a president of a company called Orsa Ventures. My interest in Orsa Ventures, and we'll go through the whole full disclosure stuff later in the interview, my interest in Orsa Ventures, aside from having a friendship with Linda, is you guys are doing some really interesting stuff in southeastern Oregon. You're about an hour and a half from Klamath Falls, if I'm not mistaken. You have taken it a step farther in Oregon than a lot of other companies in that you're down the permitting road. Let's talk first about where your property is located and what you're doing.
Well, good afternoon, Alan. Thank you very much. It's been a great 20 years of friendship and companionship. Our project in Oregon is just, as you said, about an hour and a half east of Klamath Falls, but as importantly, only 30 minutes west of a small community called Lakeview. And that's where we now have our base of operations. That's where our U.S. subsidiary operates. We liked Oregon from an investment standpoint. We've had a very good look at the permitting aspects of developing projects in Oregon, and we also noticed that the geology that occurs in Nevada, where so many large gold systems have been discovered, it runs into southern Oregon. So the project we're looking at is a northern extension of what's called the Basin and Range province. It's a typical epithermal hot spring system, and this one just happens to have 2.85 million ounces of gold in a resource and significant exploration upside.
Let's talk a little bit about the resource, 43101 numbers.
Yes, they are 43101 compliant. Because of the age of the data, the measured and indicated was reclassified as inferred, but it's not going to take a lot of work for us to move a good deal of that back into a measured and indicated category.
Now, Linda, historically, and I spent 31 years in Oregon, and historically, one of the problems in Oregon has been the permitting issue. No, I don't want to say it's as challenging as California, but it's been pretty challenging in the past. You've addressed that successfully, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we have, on a number of fronts. We've compared various legislations across Arizona, Nevada, Idaho, and Oregon. At the same time, we've had a full legal opinion prepared by a leading lawyer who is actually the individual who chaired the committee that rewrote the mining statute in the 1990s. So Oregon has a very clearly defined process for permitting a mine, for permitting a chemical processing mine, and for the allowance of open pits. So we're certainly satisfied with the homework we've done to date, that this project can be permitted, and as our author of this report concluded, likely in a very efficient manner.
You know, I have a question for you, and I have a number of questions here, but one of the things that I'm curious about, and I know our listeners are curious about this also, is we're in January of 2013 right now. I know the area that you're working in, so it's obviously a year-round type situation. What do you have planned for the next 12 months?
Well, we're working on a number of things. We're working on expanding our land position in the area to cover off what we see as additional exploration targets. We are permitting a drill program right now with the goal of commencing drilling in the spring. There have had a bit of snowfall this year, so it's prudent to wait our time there. It'll be our plan to work towards a revised resource estimate for the summer, and then work towards what we call a preliminary economic assessment study going into the end of 2013.
Okay, so in terms of news flow between now and the fall, we're looking pretty strong.
We are, and in fact, we've just had two recent news releases related to the property. The first one was focused on there was some drill core that had not been ever assayed and logged. So we've actually sent that material in for assay, and the numbers that are coming back actually corroborate the grade and tenor of the existing mineralization. So that's very, very good news for us. Equally, we've outlined a pretty expansive program in a January update for the coming year.
The latest press release put out by Orsa was just very, very recent. That is on the front homepage of our site, by the way. Let's talk about that news release.
Certainly. A company in 2004 had the opportunity to explore for high-grade feeder systems below the main mineralized zones. They only assayed what they saw as vein material, and so almost 5,000 meters of material was never logged, split, and assayed. So we've done all that work, we've submitted it to a very credible lab for assaying, and the results that are coming back completely confirm the grade of the mineralization that was determined in the 1980 drill programs. So it's very good news.
Of course. Now, having said that, let's move a little bit farther south. You also have an asset down in Nevada.
We have two, as a matter of fact. But we do have a recent gold discovery. We announced initially in May that we had made a discovery in a very prolific mining trend near Lovelock, Nevada. And we designed, permitted a second phase of trenching on that property, and in fact generated some very good results from that. So we're very encouraged with what we've got there, and we'll be following on with another trenching program probably going into the spring as well.
Linda, I'd like to go a little bit into your background. Now, you've been involved in the industry for at least 5 years.
At least 5 years.
At least 5
yes.
years. Let's talk about some of your past experience.
Certainly. I can say, we'll start back to 1979. I joined a company.
No, that's more than 5 years
That's
ago.
more than 5 years, but I was very lucky to secure a very interesting position with a company called Ventures West Minerals. They had a producing mine, or mine just coming into production in Nevada. So I cut my teeth working in the southwest United States, and really have stayed there from a geological perspective. I've looked at projects around the world, but like the geology, and I've had the opportunity to both consult to and operate a number of companies that have been active throughout the western United States. So it's been a great run. I've taken a bit of time outside to work with the Special Government Commission in the province of British Columbia, but other than that, the mining industry continues to call me back.
You know, it's interesting. Linda is a very avid golfer, as I am, and I find it to be amazing how, in spite of the draw, I mean, you're a pretty competitive person, and in spite of the way that golf can grab you and pull you in, we're still doing this stuff. And that says a lot about passion, I guess, for lack of better terms.
You know, it does. The chairman of our board called me in mid-2010 and asked me if I would consider having a lunch with him to talk about an opportunity. And Brian Flower and I had worked together as part of the Viceroy management team operating a very successful mine in Southern California. We had lunch, and I, of course, was very interested in the opportunity, and we agreed that come August I would join the company and serve as the president and CEO and build the company. And to date, we've acquired 3 excellent assets: new gold discovery, big copper porphyry gold target outside of Hawthorne in Nevada, and of course, a very large gold system in southern Oregon.
Let's talk a little bit about the mundane basics: shares outstanding, capital availability, etc.
So we have 34 million shares outstanding, which is quite a tight share structure. 1.7 million shares in options, so that takes us to 36.7 in total. So quite a tight share structure. We completed a financing in April of 2012, raising 1.75 million, and we were actually oversubscribed in that raise. So we will be looking to fundraise again coming into the spring, but we are well capitalized for in the near term.
So really, in the near term, there's no problem. Boy, I got to tell you, hats off to you, because that's really not the case with probably 90% of the companies around here. They're all scratching, for lack of better terms, for money. We got a minute left. I want to ask your opinion about something, and you get asked this all the time. Here's number 347th of the day. Where's gold going to go, in your opinion, in 2013?
Well, I'm a student. I study gold, and I keep a close eye on it, clearly, because it's the biggest influencer in terms of our company growth. All of the major banks, a lot of the analysts, they're all predicting higher gold prices. So certainly above 2,000. I'm going to be conservative. A lot of projects at $1,500 gold are very, very economic. But I'm seeing the forecasts everywhere I turn as strong and growing.
2 things I want you to take from this interview. Number 1, if you want more information on Orsa Ventures, click on their banner on our website. I am not at all arm's length in this situation. They are a sponsor on our site. Linda's been a friend for an awfully long time. Second thing I want you to bring out from this site is, as Linda says, it looks like gold is going to do wonderful things in 2013. Big Al's going to be right back with Doug Casey.